Welcome in, everyone. We have a very serious topic to discuss today, and that was a direct question of whether or not aircraft carriers will be used to strike the cartels deep in Mexico, and what that might look like and what was said in response to that question. As always, before we get started, please like and subscribe and comment with your thoughts below on how you think we should deal with the drug cartels. And if you think aircraft carriers are a potential tool in the toolbox that President Donald Trump and Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth should use at their disposal. So the topic today is rather straightforward and simple. The Senate had a hearing. Let me see if I can pull up the so it was the Senate Armed Services Committee held a hearing on the northern and southern state commands. During the hearing, the head of NORTHCOM, I believe, the United States Northern Command and the Northern American Aerospace Defense Command, Gregory Gillot, I believe I'm pronouncing his last name correctly. If not, General Gregory, an Air Force, four-star Air Force general. If I got your name wrong, I'm sure you're watching this. My apologies. He's been in that role since February 5th, 2024. Let's look at some of his decorations. He has the Defense Distinguished Service Medal, Air Force Distinguished Service Medal twice, Defense Superior Service Medal 3 times, Legion of Merit twice, and 3 Bronze Stars. He's been in the Air Force since 1989 and transferred into the United States Air Force Academy, from which he graduated from. So that's a little background on General Gillot. He was asked directly during the hearing, let's see, I believe by Senator Rick Scott. Let me make sure I got that correct. That he was at, Senator Rick Scott asked during the hearing if an aircraft carrier strike group would be needed to battle the cartels deep inside Mexico, and he gave an interesting answer. It's not so much what he did say, although he did say one thing very interesting. It's also what he didn't say that I think draws serious interest from me and will draw serious interest from you. Let's go ahead and roll the video right now of General Gillot's, Gillot, whatever it is, his response when asked if aircraft carriers possibly will be used to hit the cartels. Roll that tape right now.
The point you made, the cartels, which are driving the illegal migration, and that's primarily through airborne ISR, to get more information on those and figure out how we can counter their actions.
You think there's any chance you're going to need a carrier strike group in the Gulf of America?
Senator, at this time I haven't gotten to a carrier strike group, but I will need a significant increased maritime presence in cooperation with the Coast Guard.
So in that video, you saw General Gillot say that he hasn't thought about aircraft carriers, but notably, he did not rule out that aircraft carriers might be used to hit the cartels. What he did say, which I thought was very, very, very interesting, was that there will be essentially, without question, there'll need to be an increase in maritime activity, i.e. naval ships, working with the Coast Guard to battle and confront the cartels in the Gulf of America. I know some people are still calling it the Gulf of Mexico. We're calling it the Gulf of America. When it comes to trafficking, whatever they're trying to push through the water to get it inland to then smuggle throughout the country and push their poison here. So he made it crystal clear with that answer, aircraft carriers aside, that there absolutely will need to be an increased maritime presence to handle the situation on the ground. Now, as for the aircraft carriers, do we think using aircraft carriers to battle the cartels is the best option? Let's go pros and cons. Let's just break it down entirely. The pros are an aircraft carrier can bring serious firepower to the fight. Let's look up right now how many fighter jets on aircraft carrier. Let's see what it says. So 75, so 60 to 90 on a Nimitz-class carrier. A typical U.S. Navy aircraft carrier like a Nimitz-class carrier can carry around 60 to 90 aircraft, including fighter jets, helicopters, and other support aircraft. So by bringing an aircraft carrier into the battle space, parking it in the Gulf of America, what you've done is you've brought serious and significant firepower with you. You've brought upwards of 90 planes, helicopters. You can move that aircraft carrier up and down the coast to where you want to hit. You can maneuver, and you bring with it the strike group that comes with big-ass guns on those naval ships, cruise missiles, drones, all different sorts of intelligence gathering apparatuses. So those are the pros. The idea that you can just swoop in with a ton of technology, of air power, and really press your will on the bad guys. That's why you would use an aircraft carrier group. So now that we've gone over the pros of why you might use an aircraft carrier fleet, a strike group to target the cartels, let's talk about the cons. And there's two big cons to me that make me think that it's unlikely President Trump and Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth are going to choose that avenue to hit the drug cartels. Number one, there's nothing you can really do from an aircraft carrier that you can't do from inside the United States. Launch planes, launch helicopters, drones, gather signals intelligence, fly in guys for direct action hits. All of that can be done within the United States from bases and locations we have here in the U.S. For example, the RC-135 Rivet that was spotted on the western side of Mexico, that took off, allegedly, reportedly, from an Air Force base in Nebraska, flew all the way to the western side of Mexico, did whatever it was doing, which we're still not totally clear on, packed it up, went back to Nebraska, and that was that. So do we really need an aircraft carrier, which costs $6 to $8 million a day based on some estimates? That's a lot of money. You're talking $8 million a day, $80 million for 10 days, $800 million for 100 days, $8 billion for 1,000 days. And I'm not saying that money might not be worth it. I'm just pointing out the fact that if there's cost-effective ways to do it, and we can do it from inside the United States anyways, then why would we feel pressed to use that aircraft carrier? And that's the big thing. The money, on top of the fact that we've proven we can do this all internally, gets a little hard to justify. And again, if it saves a bunch of American lives, you can make the argument it's 100% worth it. You're probably correct in that argument. If there's more efficient ways and there's cleaner ways to do it, and we don't have to pull an aircraft carrier group away from the Pacific or wherever it might be, the Middle East, then should we focus on that strategy of launching planes, direct action raids internally, and not from an aircraft carrier group that's going to cost a ton of money and might be less efficient than other options? For that reason, when you add up the money aspect, when you add up the fact that you don't really gain anything from an aircraft carrier that you don't gain from what we already have here internally in the United States, I find it really hard to believe that they're going to use aircraft carriers. I could be wrong. I want you to comment below with what you think, if you think they're going to use aircraft carrier fleets or not. And make sure to like and subscribe and comment with your thoughts. I love seeing the debates. As always, I'll catch you next time.